Kelly with Soulful Creations, and I'm back today with another tutorial. This time I'm making the Alicia Bag by Khembuzz Designs. This is another structure bag, and you know how much I love structured bags, and I was so excited to do it that I did too. So this was my first one. This was my first test bag, and this blue croc, and it just came out so nice. I love this color blue, and I said, well, I'm gonna just keep those electric colors coming, so I did this one in purple. So and this one is a thin croc, and this one is a much thicker. So I want to show you though, but you can still get the structure even with a thinner or a thicker vinyl. So on the blue one, I used Ottertex for my stabilizer, and on the purple one I use Decaville Heavy because it's just not as thick as the Ottertex. So anyway, this bag has a nice flap, and she recommends that you use an edge lock, some type of edge lock closure. Okay, so you see I have two different types here. On the back it has a zipper pocket, so easy access to your phone, your keys, or whatever. It has this nice top carry handle. I'm stuck on something over here. And then when you open it up, inside you have a divider pocket, a slip pocket, another zipper pocket, and there's plenty of room for everything that you need to carry with you. And you can see on this version I did the vinyl strap, and on this one I did a chain strap. So you can really like take this bag and do so many different things with it. It's just it's not, I'm not going to tell you that it's a quick sew. There are several pieces to cut out, but it is a rewarding sew, because at the end you're going to say, I did that, I made that. And so anyway, I want you to get that pattern. The link will be in the description, as well as any materials that I've used. I will also link my zipper pocket tutorial, because I don't show you that in the video, the zipper pocket, the slip pocket, because I've done it so many times. But everything else is step by step. So again, without further ado, let's get ready to make the Alicia Bag by Khembuzz Designs. So let's get started on our Alicia by Khembuzz Designs. So the first thing we're going to need is our back panel piece, and it should be stabilized or interfaced with Decaville Heavy or equivalent. So this vinyl is already pretty thick and stiff. So I debated on whether or not I was going to even use any stabilizer. But since this is a really structured bag, I said I better. So on the first one I made, I used Ottertex because that vinyl was thinner. And I think it needed more structure, which I think the Ottertex gives a little more structure than the Decaville Heavy. So I'm hoping this will work out with the Decaville Heavy. So, and you notice that this window is cut out because we're going to be installing a zipper on the back. Again, so you're going to make a line 1 inch from the top, apply your stabilizer, and then make sure that that window's cut out before you do that. You're going to need your zipper facing piece, and I have it marked out where we're going to sew on that for the zipper window. And then we need our zipper pocket piece. You need a piece of zipper tape and a zipper pull. So we're going to go ahead and put the facing onto this main panel. So make sure you have the right side up. Should be this is the top with the window here. And we're going to measure 1.5 inches. 1.5 inches from the top. And we're going to center the facing at that 1.5 inch. mark there. Okay. So, and then we're going to sew around that window that we have drawn onto the back of the facing. So I'm going to move this out of the way. And we're going to get ready to stitch. Had to kick my shoe off because, yes, I do sew barefoot. I moved it. Okay. Let me get that back. Like I said, this vinyl's so thick, I was going to try to clip this on, but I didn't even want to bend it. It's so thick. So, okay. Right there. Okay. So, once I get my needle down, I'll be good. Okay. Okay, so here we go. Okay, and I am using waterproof canvas for my lining. And so the facing is cut from the waterproof canvas. If you're using a cotton, you don't need to interface your zipper facing. You don't want it to be too thick. Okay, so I'm just going around following the lines. And I do use a smaller stitch length on this window. I use like a 3.5. Because I find you get a crisper window when you do a smaller stitch length. Okay, so there we go. So I've sewn around that window there. So now we're going to cut this, we're going to cut right through the middle, and then we're going to cut little triangles on the sides. And we're going to push the facing through. So this is what it looks like on the back side. So we have that zipper window right there in the, where the stabilizer has been cut out. So I'm going to grab my little X-Acto knife here, and I have this little mat. These little mats are so cute. I mean, I got it from the dollar store. They're like $1 something, and I got a few of them because I don't know how long they're going to last. But anyway, so I'm going to just make a cut right down the middle. And then right in the corners, I'm going to get it in there and then go right and make a V. So do not cut your stitches, but you want to get as close as you can. Okay. Like I said, this is really thick vinyl. So if it's not going through, just have to make sure it's going through good. Okay, there we go. There we go. And I'll do the same thing on the other side. Make my V. Okay. So once I get that cut, now we're going to push the facing through. So what I like to do first is I like to fold the seam allowance to the back and just get it started. Especially, like I said, this is some thick vinyl. This vinyl is not domestic machine friendly. And I'll push those little triangles to the back as well. So it's like that. And now I'm going to start pushing my facing through. Alrighty. Okay. And because this stuff is so stiff, I really am going to have to tame it. So I'm going to be putting some double-sided tape to hold this facing down because I really can't press it down. So once I get it where I want it, then I am going to add some double-sided tape. So I just want to make sure it looks good from the right side. Get it in. Okay. So once I have one side looking pretty good, and I'm okay if a little bit of the facing shows there. I'm okay with that. Okay. So I'm going to grab my double-sided tape. And I'm going to put a strip here. So right under that window, I'm just going to add a little strip there. So I just added a little piece right there, and I'm going to press my facing down. In place there. Okay. Hopefully that holds. And I do the same thing on the other side. Okay. If you have cotton, you can probably give it a good little press to hold it down. But when you're using materials that can't be ironed, then you have to come up with some little tricks. There we go. And I think that will be okay. Let's see what it looks like from the front. Hey now. Okay. I'll just make sure if anything is fraying a little there. Okay. All right. So that's what your zipper window will look like. Okay. Not bad. So let me put that back. Now we can sew our zipper pocket. Okay. So I'm going to take my zipper tape. Don't need to pull on yet. And on the shorter side, I'm going to lay my zipper tape wrong side down onto the right side of my lining piece here. And I'm going to sew that on with a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Let me increase my stitch back to normal. Okay. I'm telling you, when you're sewing that zipper window like that, a slightly smaller stitch length really does help. Okay. Okay. So now, on this side, I like to fold this back. Fold the seam allowance down to the lining, and I'm going to top stitch. I'm going to do that on this side. All right, so now we have this. So this is the wrong side of the lining, and then we have the right side of the zipper. So we're going to fold this back. So the right sides are touching on the lining, and then we're going to bring the zipper tape up to the other side. Okay, and make sure the sides of the lining are matched up, and then the top of the zipper should be on the raw edge of the lining. And we're going to sew that side the same way at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Okay, so now we should have it looking like this. And then now we're going to add double-sided tape across the top here and down here. But like I've said before, I don't like to add it onto the sides because we're going to sew the sides closed. And I tried not to sew through double-sided tape as much as possible. So there are times when I have to, but if I don't have to, then I will not. So, especially since I just put a new needle in too, and I don't want to gum it up too quickly. Okay, so now once we have the double-sided tape on, then we can add our zipper pull. So I'm just going to pull one side open, and I'll go in at an angle here, and then this one, bring this side up, and then I can look down, make sure that they're even, and then just slide my zipper pull on. Okay, so now we're ready to go ahead and put it in our window here, like so. That is such a perfect match. Look at how that zipper tape. That is the perfect match, isn't it? Okay. So anyway, let me just make sure it's even on the back, okay? And now we're going to make sure it's centered in the window. And with that, center it the best we can. Okay. So now I'm going to remove the backing from one piece of the double-sided tape, and I will put that in place here. Okay, making sure, like I said, that it's centered, even. Okay, then lift this up and do the other side. Okay. All right, so now we should have it looking like that. And now the zipper pocket is going down toward the bottom. We want to take the zipper pocket and bring it up like this, okay? So make sure we have it going up out of the way. And we're going to just top stitch the bottom. So I'm going to start 1/8 of an inch from the side of the window here, go across, and then stop 1/8 of an inch past the window. And I'm going to leave long tails at both ends to pull to the back. So we're just doing the bottom. Okay, let me make sure, because we do not want to sew through our zipper pocket. That wouldn't be good. We'll sew it closed and be useless. Okay. Just get my needle dropped in, and here we go. Okay, get that zipper pull out of the way. stopping 1/8 of an inch past the window, and then we're going to pull long tails here. Okay. Now from the back, I'll pull the tails out, tie it off. The same thing here. Okay. Great. Alrighty, so now it should be looking like this. We're going to now bring the zipper pocket back down. So down back toward the bottom. And now we're going to sew the rest of the zipper window. We're going to start, drop our needle in that very first stitch. And we're going to come up the side. We're going to go across. And we're going to go back down, dropping our needle in that stitch that we ended here. Okay. And so, again, leave long tails. Okay. And come up this way. And now come down. There we go. Okay, and just like before, I'm going to pull the threads to the back, tie them off, and then we can sew up the rest of our lining. Alrighty. That was not too bad with this thick vinyl. Just gotta know how to trick it. See. Let's just hope the rest goes okay. Okay. Give that a little singe. Okay. There we go. That looks pretty darn good, right? Okay. All right. So now we're just going to, I'm going to pull this back here and we're going to sew the sides down at 3/8 of an inch. All right. You can do a quarter if you want to leave it a little wider, but it's okay. Just get it sewn down. Be careful going over the zipper. This is nylon teeth, but it can still break your zipper. I mean, break your needle if you're going too fast. Okay. There we go. And we'll pull this side back and do the other side here. Alrighty. Okay. And if you want, you can trim down the little extra zipper tape that's sticking out. Not really 100% necessary. Okay. Now we have our zipper pocket. That goes on the back. Looking good. Woohoo. Okay. So now, what we have next, let me just double check because I like to try to keep things in order for you. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to install our purse feet onto the base, and we're going to install part of our lock on the front panel. So let me grab my front panel. So I have my front panel, and then my base is here as well. Here we go. Okay, so here's the front. I even wrote front because I wanted to use this piece for the front. It's been stabilized with Decaville Heavy. This time there's no cutout because we're not putting a zipper pocket on the front. Okay, so we have the front, and here's the base, and I already have it marked for my purse feet. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to punch the holes for my purse feet and get those installed. Okay, so one. Ooh, this is sticker binder. 2, 3, and 4. Okay. And we'll go ahead. I'm going to grab my first feet over here. What is this? Okay. And I have my washers here. So I need 4 of those. 2, 3, and 4. And my 4 purse feet there. Okay. So I'm just going to stick that through there. And put my washer. Okay, so once you have your purse feet installed, and we can use a little tape. I'm just going to use this masking tape because I ran out of duct tape. And this works just good. Okay. Go this way. Put it along there. Alrighty. If you hear a lot of noise, I do apologize. My boys are outside playing basketball. And they get really crazy and silly. It's just, it's the weekend. Okay. All right. So now I have that. Now the base is ready. We're not putting stabilizer on the base yet. That goes on at the end. So I'm going to grab my front main panel piece because we're going to mark where we're going to put the first part of our lock. Okay, so let me grab my pen here. And so here's, we're going to put the mark there. And I also like to flip it over on this side just to make sure that I'm centered well. And I can see there. So yes, so right in there. So I have my mark there. Okay, so I don't know if you can see, it's too hard, that silver, but I put my mark there. So it's recommended that you use an edge lock for this particular pattern. And if you don't have to. If you don't, you may have to adjust how you, boys, I'm filming. You may have to adjust how you install your lock. So just keep that in mind if you're not using an edge lock. So I have this one. So an edge lock. So it goes on the edge of the flap. This part will go onto the edge. So let's say this is the flap. It's going to go on the edge of the flap like that. And so there's two pieces to this. So I want to try to open it without, well, there's plastic on top that I have to remove. Hold on. So let me take the little plastic film off. I'm going to keep that because I want to put it back on. So this one you just squeeze together and it comes apart like that. So this part is the part that I'm ready to install. This part goes onto the flap. This part here goes onto the flap. Okay, and it has screws as well. And then this part has prongs and it has this washer. So let me go ahead and put the film back on this part. And I'm going to put that away because I don't want it to get scratched up. And I'm going to carefully open this up so I don't lose my screws because Jazzy does not like when I lose my screws, because then she's the one that goes down on the floor looking for them for me. So she's like, do not lose those screws, lady. So I'm going to stick those in there. Jazzy, I didn't drop the screws.
Good job.
All right. So here we go. So now it has this little hole right there. I'm going to place that over my mark. Okay, so this is the top. So place it over my mark there. I'm going to open up these prongs and then I'll see which. This is a strong. I got to use my pliers to open this one up because I like it that it's so strong. I can't remember where I got this lock from, but I've had a few of them, and I had it a while, and I can't remember. Okay, so this is going to be the way it goes. So let's get it. Make sure it's even. Okay. And that looks about right. So the second one in from the side. So let me line that up, draw my marks. There. Okay, make sure I can see them good. Okay. And now I'm going to cut those slits there. Be very careful. Don't want to go too far. Okay. All right. And I don't think I need any more stabilizer because this vinyl's thick and I have the Decaville heavy. So I'm just going to go ahead and put it on there. Make sure it's straight. Let me grab my ruler and just double check. I want to just make sure it's straight. Because if it's not, that won't look good. Okay. There. Okay. I think that's pretty straight there. Okay. So I'm going to turn that over. I don't want to scuff it up. And then I place my washer. And I think I'm going to fold these. These prongs are so pointy, so I'm going to fold them in because I don't want to risk them digging into my exterior. And I wish I had some some more duct tape. I gotta buy some more duct tape.
I think we have some. Do you want me to go get it?
Oh, that's okay, Jazzy. I think I just double up on this. Thank you, though. But I will get it for another time, though. Okay. The boys like to take it. I don't know what boys do with duct tape. Always taping something. Their shoes, their this, their that. Okay. So that's what it's going to look like. That's what this portion of the lock looks like. Okay, so we have done that. We have our lock on, part of our lock. We have our purse feet on. Now we are going to sew the base on to our main panels. So this is the front. I'm going to start with the front. And so we're going to place right sides together. So make sure you have the bottom. So this is the bottom of the front panel, bottom, and then we're going to place the base, line it up, match it up here, and we're going to sew at 3/8 seam allowance. It should be good fit. Okay, 3/8. Now we're going to flip that open and we're going to push the seam allowance toward the base. Again, this is so thick here, but I can do it. Okay, and we're going to top stitch through the base, 1/8 of an inch. This purple is so pretty. Oh my gosh. Woo. Already loving it. Okay. So now the bottom, we're going to place it right sides. So this is the back part. We're going to do the same thing and sew it at 3/8 and then top stitch. Yes. Looking good. Now top stitch again onto the base. Let me gently push my seam allowance down. Whoa, that looks good. That looks so good there. So there, that's what that's gonna look like. Alrighty. So now we're gonna get ready to do the handle. So I'm gonna grab everything I need for the handle, and then we're gonna come back. Just let me get everything I need together, and we'll be right back. Okay, so now I have my handle piece. So your handle piece should look like this. And there's on the pattern piece, it tells you one side is A and one side is B. Make sure you mark that, because it's important, because we're going to fold A and then we're going to fold B. And it has to be done in a certain order. Okay, we're using these, they're commonly known as like bridge connectors. So this is what we're using as the handle connectors. And I have my screws safely secured over here. Okay. So we're going to be adding those onto this portion of the handle. So if you notice, I have also from the pattern piece, there's some lines that you need to mark. I've done that, and then I put a little piece of double-sided tape on each end here, and I have my double-sided tape there. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove the double-sided tape from the A side, and we're going to fold it over to meet the line. Okay. Come on, this thick vinyl. It will fold. Okay. If your vinyl or whatever you're using, if it's a little thin, you might want to put a little stabilizer down the middle. I did that with my other one because it was much thinner. Okay. All right. So now it should look like that. Now we're going to take these connector here. This, let me see how we're doing this. Yes. So I just lay it on top like this. And then we're going to fold it over. We're going to fold that over like that. Okay. And actually, I'm going to show you what I did on one of mine, on my last one, because I was like, I'm not going to be able to sew this, but I'm going to pull that tape back out of the way. And I'm just folding it over, and you can judge how far. I just go about a ½ inch over onto, just make sure it's the same on each side. So I don't want it to be, did I take the tape off? Oh, I didn't take the backing. I'm like, why won't it stick? The paper's still on there. Like, ah! Okay, so I'm gonna go over and then just stick that down like that. And then the same thing over here. We can just go on and remove that too. And I'll remove paper this time. And I'm gonna lay that over there. And I'm just gonna fold this end over. Okay, so it's about the same amount there. Okay, is that about even there? A little bit more. There we go. So just like that. Now we're going to fold this side over. So the B side, fold it over to the line. Okay. Telling you, y'all, this vinyl is no joke. It's it. Okay, just like that. Okay. So now you should have it looking like this. Now we're going to fold this over. Okay. Fold the rest of A over. And it will not go all the way to the edge. It's going to have a little gap there. And that's exactly what you want. And I'm just going to clip that down. Okay. Close it down here. Okay, like that. And that's going to be the handle. Okay, so now we're going to top stitch on that fold right there. So this is going to be the top of your handle. Okay, that fold right there, and we're going to top stitch. So you will see that top stitching on the top of your handle. Okay, so I couldn't get all the way to the end with these connectors in the way when I did my first one. So you know what I did? I slid it right out. Because now that I know where I want it, just go ahead. It's already secured there. Just slide it on out. That's what I did. Just like that. Okay? And when I'm done, I'll slide it right back in. That's why you don't want to make it too super tight. Okay? So now I'm ready to top stitch. So right at that fold there. Okay. Just making sure it's good. Alrighty. So there we have it. So now I can just pop that right back in. Just slide it back in. There we go. Just like that. And I just shape my handle like that. And there's the handle. Okay, so the handle's done. And we're going to get ready to do, I believe we're ready to do our flap. Just let me check. Yep, so let's get the flap going. So I'm going to grab my flap pieces here. You should have two. Okay, so we have our two flap pieces. And I'm going to grab the pattern piece to mark where we're going to put the handle. So now this one I have marked as my exterior piece, and this one I've marked as my lining piece. If you notice, I have some lines drawn on the back of the lining piece. Okay, so that way when I get ready to sew this together, sew them right sides together, this is going to be my seam allowance guide. Okay, and this 1/2 inch here that's marked at the top, we're going to trim that off of the lining. So make sure you know which side is going to be your exterior, which side is going to be your lining if you're using the same material for your flap, because you don't want to trim the exterior by mistake. Okay, so I want the exterior, And I'm going to mark. So on the pattern piece, it has the marking for your handle. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to mark that out. Okay. And not all of everybody's hardware will be exactly the same. So it's important that I'm really just, my main focus is that top part, where it starts, because I'm going to actually use my handle, my connector to determine where the second hole goes, because it's not the same. So once I see that, then I know that the other hole can go here. So I'm just laying it where I can see the holes, and I know that it's going to end right there. It's going to start there, and it's going to end there. And I'll do the same thing with this one. So I'm just laying it on its side so I can see where the screw holes are. Okay, so I know where it ends. Okay, so now I have that punched out. That marked out. So I have the handle placement marked out. So I'm going to punch holes right there at the beginning of the end. And I have my screws. I'm going to put some stabilizer back there because there's none on the flap yet. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to install my handle. I'm going to get my handle installed. And then once I get that on, I'll be back. And we will get ready to sew the flap together. Okay, I have installed the handle and it looks pretty darn good. So make sure I put the seam where the seam is, I put it toward the back. Okay, so that's just my preference. I think it looks better that way. So now for the lining, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to trim off that 1/2 inch at the top. Okay. So let's get that. Get that trimmed off. And now we're going to go ahead and we're going to match up everything else on this and get it sewn. We have our seam allowance drawn on. Makes it a lot easier. So we're going to put right sides together and sew this up. Make sure these little points match up. Okay. Make sure your handle is kind of pressed down and out of the way because it will want to push out against this lining. Okay, so once we have it clipped together, we're going to sew that on. Okay, so I'm just going to sew right on those lines I drew. Okay. Just following those lines. Okay. So our flat pieces are sewn together. And now we are going to trim. So these points here, these little corners here, we're going to trim that down, and we're going to trim around the curves. So I'm just going to trim that a little here. Trim that. And I'm going to take my pinking shears. So these are pinking shears here. And I'm just going to trim down that seam allowance. Okay. Woo, that's some thick stuff. Okay. And I like to just kind of trim. I like my corners to be a little smoother, and I think it turns out smoother. Okay, so now, woo! Now you know what this means. I gotta try to turn this out. And this is thick. So I am going to go take this to my blow dryer, and I'm going to apply some heat to soften this vinyl up so it makes it easier for me to turn it out. So I'll be back after it's all turned out. Alrighty, the flap is put together. It's looking great. I had to use the blow dryer to really push out the seams on this vinyl because it's so thick. But if you have thick vinyl, that's a good trick to use to get it, because it softens it right up and you can push the corners out. So this is the stabilizer. This is Decaville Heavy I'm using. And you see I have these lines marked, and I've creased them, because that's the crease lines to give the flap its shape. So we're going to go ahead. I'm going to insert this in. Make sure it gets pushed all the way down and over those seams. Get it under and all the way in. Make sure. Okay. Make sure it goes underneath the seam allowance and not on top. Okay. There we go. I think that's good. It should be pretty even with the lining. Okay, like that. Okay. So now this part that we have here, this extra, so where we trimmed off from the lining, we're going to fold this over. So we're going to put some double-sided tape there, and we're going to fold that over. Okay, so we won't have a raw edge on the exterior. So and then we're going to go ahead and we're going to top stitch the flap. So I'm going to add a piece of double-sided tape, making sure, let me just make sure this doesn't keep moving. So I'm going to put a couple of clips down here so that my stabilizer stays in place. This vinyl is so thick, I probably could have done without any stabilizer. But hey, you know, I like a lot of structure, so why not? Okay, so I'm just going to add this. And guess what? As we're sitting here working on this video, all of a sudden out the blue, there's a hailstorm. And it is just absolutely crazy out there.
Like my phone said it was raining. It didn't say it was a hailstorm outside.
No, I mean, huge chunks of hail coming
The
down.
ground was white.
The ground is white. So this weather is just getting wackier and wackier. But hey,
It beats being hot outside.
yes it does, because we live in the desert, and honey, we are not loving those summers that we get. 110, 111. So, okay, so we need the rain, we need the hail,
We need the cold.
we need the cold. Okay, alrighty. So got that. So let's see our flap, our handle. Alrighty, so that's what our flap is looking like. Very good. So now we're just going to top stitch from this corner, and we're going to go down, around, and back up to the other corner. Don't top stitch the straight edge yet, because we're going to do that when we attach it to the back panel. So we're going to go ahead and get that top stitch. I got a little thread hanging right there, so I'm going to just make sure. Okay, so let me check my bobbin, because it was rattling a little bit, and I think it's getting low. And look at that. It is very low. So, not today, bobbin. I like saying that. Thanks, Lauren Mormino. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna get that top stitched. And I am going to pull my stitches, my threads to the back. We done. This is that. I'm thinking about that final top stitching that I'm going to have to do. And I'm like, what did I get myself into with this big vinyl? And I also have to think about putting my connector, my lock on, and hope this won't be too thick. I don't think it will be, because sometimes I have to add a little extra bulk. So, alrighty, so here we go. There we go. Back there. Okay, so what? Alrighty, just checking my stitches underneath the bobbin, make sure everything looks good. It looks pretty good. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tie off these threads, and then we're going to get ready to add it to the back panel. Well, I was rather enjoying hearing that hail fall. I haven't seen hail in a little while. It's nice. But if it's too big, it can be damaging. So it wasn't that bad.
At least they were small.
Yeah, they weren't too big. So you don't want to be pummeling people out there. And plus, too, my husband is driving home from work, and he has a nice long drive, so hopefully he won't run into too much. Okay, so Okay. So now we're gonna get ready. Like I said, we're gonna get this on the back. So I'm gonna grab our exterior here, and the back, I have the center already snipped on the back. So I'm gonna grab my ruler, and we're going to do 2 inches from the top here. 2 inches. And let me see if I could draw a line on this bumpiness. It's enough to see. That sounded funny. Okay. So I can see my line. I know you can't, but I can. So I am going to, let me see, get the center here the best I can here. And I'll mark the center. So that's about center right there. And we got center right there. And I'm going to put some double-sided tape right across the back here. Okay. So we have the double-sided tape. And I'm going to do that. This center's about right there. And then I'm going to just double check before I get to pressing too hard. So I'm just going to check these corners. Just make sure that I'm pretty centered. So that's about 3/8. Whoops.
Oh no.
I guess I should have pressed a little bit harder. Let's do that one more time. Okay. Just didn't want to press too hard in case I had to adjust it. Okay. And that. Base there. And I think that looks good right there. Okay. Looks good enough for me. Okay, so now we're going to top stitch. So we're going to top stitch right 1/8 of an inch from the top. Then we're going to make another row of stitches about 1/4 inch to 3/8 down from the first row. Okay, so this is really thick, so I gotta, and I'm going, like I said, I'm gonna leave long tails like I did before. And I'm going to drop my needle right there. And let's hope I can get through this. Ooh, it sounded thick. But I think I'm okay. Got my machine clicking. Okay, let me see. Okay, I'm gonna see what that looks like underneath. Oh, it actually looks good. It just sounds crazy. Okay, and I'm just gonna go back. Okay, so a little bit more. There we go. And I'm going to go back across. So I'm doing about 3/8. Well, I'm doing about 1/4 inch, I think, from my first row of stitches. There we go. Whee! So look at that. That's what it looks like. So good. Alrighty. So now I'm going to just pull these threads to the back, tie them off, and then I'm going to add some rivets in the corners of my flap just for that extra strength. Why did I say that like that? You know, Beyonce got me country. Beyonce, oh my gosh, she's a mess. You know, sometimes I'm a fan and sometimes I'm not, you know. It's just... Okay. Good. Alright, so now I'm just going to go ahead. So I'm going to put a rivet on each corner. And then, let's see. Ooh, let me just see where my folds are. Because this is going to get folded down 1/2 inch. So that's where the first fold is, right there on that corner, right there. So I'm just going to start shaping that. And then the second one I can feel is right there. So we got to get that fold in there for the handle, just like that. Just start to shape it. I just like to see what it's going to look like when we get there. Oh yeah, that's going to look good. Looking kind of cookie right now, but you get the picture. Okay, so no more playing around. Let's see where we are. Just let me just double check. So we've done the flap. Okay, we got it connected. Now, if you're doing hidden connectors on your side panels, follow the directions for that. I'm not doing hidden connectors. I'm using some of these. So this is another type of bridge connector, and I'm just going to use this. So I'm going to use these little metal connectors on my side panels. So so that will be the next step if you're doing the hidden connectors. So now I'm just going to go ahead and get my side panels and install my hardware on my side panels. And your side panels should already be interfaced with Decaville light. So we have that 1 inch because this is a drop-in. So that's why we have this 1 inch mark on the tops of our main panels, our side panels, and then we're also going to have that on the lining. So your Decaville light is there, and then what else? So that's it. And now I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to mark where I'm going to put my connectors, and I'm going to have that installed. And then we're going to come back and get sew our side panels onto our exterior, and then we'll be able to move on to our lining. Okay, so I'll be back. All right, I got my connectors, my strap connectors on my side panels. One thing I noticed is, I don't know how I miscut my Decaville light, but if you noticed, if you saw when I showed it to you at first, the Decaville is going all the way down to the bottom, but it should stop 1/4 inch up. So I trimmed it off the best I could because I don't want any extra in these seam allowance with this thick vinyl. So anyway, we're going to get ready to attach the side panels to the main exterior. So right here on the base, I'm going to find the center. Okay, right there on the short side of the base. Let's find the center mark. Is that being seen, Jazzy, or am I out of the camera? As I tend to do sometimes.
No, you're in there.
Okay, and then on the bottom, I'm gonna mark the center of my side connectors as well. So I can line that up. Okay. So we're going to attach these side panels in segments. Okay, so I'm going to grab my exterior, take one of my side panels, and we're going to match up the center marks on the base with the side panel. We're going to clip that in place. Okay, and I'm just going to sew the bottom part here. And I'm not going to sew all the way to the end. So I'm going to sew, the sides are going to be sewn at a 1/2 inch seam allowance. So I'm going to mark a line right there on the sides. And I'm going to start and stop 1/2 inch in from each side. So I'm just going to sew right across the bottom there. Okay. So that's what we're going to do first. So let me move that out of the way and get ready to sew. And this is not in the pattern of, she does say to do the bottom first, then the side. But she didn't say where to start and stop. And I just, from doing the first one, I just found this to be a lot easier to sew it by doing this. Not going all the way to the end. Okay. So, back stitch. And we're doing the bottom at a 1/4 inch. And I'm to that mark, and I'm going to back stitch and stop there. Okay. Okay, so now you should just have the bottom attached. Now, I thought you said something to me, Josie. So now another thing I found easy. So I'm going to snip into the side panel, not the exterior panel. So I'm just going to snip right there at that 1/2 inch mark where, and I'm just doing maybe like a a little less than a 1/4 inch snip. Okay. So I'm just snipping it. So if you see here, I have a little snip right there. Okay. So now with those snips in there, and I had forgot to put tape on the back of my connector, so I added some tape just to say that. Okay. So now it should be able to just turn, swivel up toward the top here because now we're going to bring the top of the lining, the top of the side panel up to meet the top of the exterior panels. So, and we're just going to clip that. And I'm just going to do this side. And we're going to try to get that corner down in there. Okay. Because these are not rounded corners. They're kind of square. So I'm going to sew this at a 1/2 inch, and I'm going to stop right at where I started when I sewed the bottom part. Okay. Is it 1/2 inch? I'm sorry. It's like more like 3/4 of an inch. Okay. 3/4, not half, sorry. Okay. So, follow the seam allowance in the pattern if it's one of them. But it's looking like I'm following the stabilizer, the Deckerville, and it looks like it's more like 3/8. Okay, so I'm getting down to where I started stitching the bottom, and I'm going to meet up right there and back stitch. Okay, a little thick. Okay. It should look like that. Don't worry about this little part sticking out because we can trim that off. Okay, and I'm just checking. I can look inside and see it looks good. So now we're going to bring it up to this side. Okay, line it up at the top. And we have that flap there. So you may have to like push that flap out of the way. Some as you stitch. So this is going to be a little bit because I'm going to start here on this side at the bottom this time. Now I'm pushing this down and I'm trying to get right where I started here. Your vinyl probably is not going to be as thick as mine, so don't worry. Okay. Trying to get it under there and get it. All right, there we go. Okay. There. Okay. Now, as I'm getting up closer to the top, I want to make sure that my flap is not going to get caught in the stitches. So I'm just folding my flap over a little out of the way so that I can get to the top. Okay. It is a little bit thick. Don't worry, we got this. Okay. A little bit more. Yeah, move that flap back. I push my flap over, and then I can finish sewing up the side. There we go. All right. So just check inside, make sure my corners are all sewn nice. Looks good inside. I don't know if you can see. You see that? Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to trim this little part off. Be careful, don't trim into your seam, and just trim this off some. Okay. Alrighty. Now I'm going to do the other side the same exact way. So this is my bag. Jazzy keeps saying this is her bag, y'all. She crazy.
She doesn't make a bag my favorite color and expect me not to take it.
Oh my Jazzy. I don't know, Jazz. I was like, who's gonna want an all purple bag?
Me.
But I just love this purple. I was like, I gotta use it. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and I need to put some more tape on my connectors before I forget. But I'll be back after I sew up the other side. Looky here. Okay, the exterior is done. I had to use the blow dryer to turn this sucker out again. But I have double-sided tape. I've added the double-sided tape so that we can fold the raw edges down, because this, like I said, this is a drop-in. And then I have my stabilizer for the bottom. I'm using Peltex for the bottom. And I just put some double-sided tape, and I'm just going to go ahead and put my stabilizer in the bottom so I don't forget, because I will do the whole lining, put the lining in, and then realize that I forgot to put the stabilizer in. So I'm going to do that right now. And I'm going to go ahead and just get that situated. And get that. Make sure we get it in place. I'm getting it under those seams. I'm getting it secured in the bottom. All right. All right now. Move that over just a little bit. There we go. Okay, so I have the Peltex in the bottom. And then now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just fold these raw edges down. Because I'm dying to see what it's looking like. Sometimes I just can't wait till I get all the way to the end, you know? I just gotta see. So I'm getting, because Jasmine just keeps on insisting that this is her bag. But she just, so I'm folding this down to that 1 inch line. Which, with this vinyl, it's just, whew. Especially when I get over here to the seams. But it's not too bad. Not too bad at all. I'm just gonna keep working my way around. It tries to pop back up. That's what we got clips for. We put clips in these seams over here. Just about there. This vinyl so thick. Okay, so now is that my phone?
Where'd you put your phone?
I don't know. I hear it, but I don't know. Alrighty. So I'm just going to add these clips.
What's the boys' school?
Oh, okay. Okie dokie. And then we also need to start shaping the sides here. The sides are going to come in. And then we're going to have a divider pocket in here. And that's going to help pull those sides in as well. And so, ooh, that's going to look good. I know it's hard to fold over with those clips. But, that's looking good already. All right, so let me go ahead and let's get ready to start our lining. So I'm going to grab the pieces that we need for our lining, and we will be back in a second. Okay, so now we're going to get ready to do our lining. So you should have your 2 lining pieces, your 2 lining tops. So let me make sure so your 2 lining pieces, your 2 lining tops, your zipper overlay, your slip pocket trim, and your slip pocket and your zipper pocket. Okay, so I am not going to do the zipper pocket and the slip pocket on camera because I have so many videos where I have a video where you can watch if you have never done a zipper pocket with overlay, and I've done so many videos showing you my method for doing slip pocket. So but I do want to show you that sewing the lining tops. Okay, and it's just, I'll just do one quick. Then I'm going to come back and after I've already done the zipper pocket and the slip pocket. Okay, so your lining tops should have that 1 inch line across the top. And I put a T for top, so I know that that's the top of my, and so this is because the line looks almost centered. It might be. I think these are our 2 inches. So, so this is the top where we're going to fold down for our drop in. Okay, so the bottom part is what you want to line up with the top of one of your lining pieces here. And we're going to sew that on. And I do believe it's, let me just check and see if that's a 1/4 inch or 3/4 inch seam allowance. Let me just make sure. And it is a 1/4 inch. So we're going to sew this on at 1/4 inch seam allowance. Okay. And also have your zipper, zipper tape and your zipper pull for your zipper pocket. Okay, I have that. And so let's get ready. We're going to sew the lining tops onto the lining main panels at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Okay. I'm going to do the next one. Woohoo! Yep. So 1/4 inch. Did I break my? I did break my thread. Doo-doo. Sometimes I just go too fast without holding the thread. And it wants to break. Up. Doo-doo. There we go. Okay, so once we get the lining top sewn on, then we're going to fold that seam allowance down toward the main lining and we're going to top stitch. Why is that dog barking again? Okay, so. Alrighty. Okay. So now I'm going to add the zipper pocket to one and the slip pocket to the other. They're going to go on at a 1/2 inch below the seam line. So, and centered, of course. So I'll be back after I do that. And then we'll get ready. We'll do the divider, the divider zipper pocket. And we'll be able to put the lining together and drop her in. The zipper pocket has been done, and so has the slip pocket. I added some rivets in the corner there, and so we can set the lining pieces aside, and we're going to get the divider pocket. So the divider pocket, you need piece L and piece M, and L is shorter than M. Okay, and then also you need your piece of zipper tape, and you need your divider pocket tops and a zipper pull, of course. So we're going to put the zipper tape aside. We're going to take our lining tops and L, which is the shorter piece, and we're going to add a lining top to both sides. And we're going to sew that on at a 1/4 inch. Let me just make sure. I always say, and then I go, let me make sure, because, you know, I just like to be sure, because seam allowances are important. So seam allowance, 1/4. Yes, 1/4 inch seam allowance. See, I knew what I was talking about, Jazzy. I knew you stopped doubting me, girl.
What are you talking about?
Go with the flow, Jazzy.
Oh, okay, my bad.
See, she's not even paying me any attention. Okay, so 1/4 inch. We're gonna go here. So. Did I break my thread again? Oh, goodness. Ay. I think my machine is tired. And I haven't, honestly, don't tell nobody, but I haven't cleaned it. I haven't cleaned it in a minute because I've been just going. So I need to take a day. I need to take a rest day from me and my machine. And I need to clean it. A self-care day. Because it's been a little temperamental here lately. I'm just going to put a fresh bobbin in, because I think it needs one. Yes, because you got to take care of them. Okay, so let's try that again. All right. And we're going to do the other side. So we're adding one to each side on piece L. Now we're going to top stitch. So we're going to bring the seam allowance down toward the lining, and we're going to top stitch on both sides. So now it should look like that. And now we're going to get, this is M. We're going to take our zipper tape and we're going to put that right side down on top of one of the divider tops. And we're going to sew that on. Well, we'll baste. I'm going to baste that. So we're going to baste it on first, 1/8 of an inch. I'm not sure if the pattern says that. I think she just has you sew it all together, but I think I want to baste this on first. So okay. So once we get that basted on, then we can take piece M and we're going to put that right side. So the right sides of the linings should be touching. And we're going to line that up and we're going to sew this at a 1/4 of an inch. Now we're going to turn that out, bring the lining to the back, bring the M line to the back, and we're going to push the seam allowance down. And we're going to top stitch. So top stitch, we're top stitching through the lining and through the top, the divider top. Make sure everything stays lined up. Now it should be looking like this at the top. Now we're going to bring this piece up with the divider top to meet the zipper, and we're going to baste that one on, this side on, just like we did the other side. And we're lining everything up. And now bring the rest of M up to meet the back of the zipper. And we're going to sew at a 1/4 inch. So what you'll end up with are these 2 loops like that. So now we can reach in, unzip the zipper. So So just pull it apart. And then we're going to turn everything out. And then we're going to top stitch the other side. So pull that zipper out as best you can. Push the seam allowances down. And so press those seam allowances. And then we're going to top stitch. Just like we did on the other side. So now it should be looking like this. So you have your two zipper ends. Okay. We're going to bring them together like this, and we're going to put our zipper pull on. And then bring it all the way off and do that again so that it's completely closed. All right. So now we have this. So now we just need to, we're just going to sew the sides, 1/4 inch on the sides. Keep your zipper tape at the top. Okay. And then just clip down the sides. Okay. So try to keep that zipper tape at the top there. So it should be looking like this. And we're just going to sew down the sides, 1/4 inch. I'm just going to start at the bottom. Make sure it doesn't shift. Okay, so we have our divider pocket. Okay, so again, it should look like this. Now we can get our lining pieces back over. I'm going to start with the zipper, with the side, with the zipper pocket, because I want to make sure my zippers are going in the same direction. So we're going to line this up on the side, 1/4 inch from the bottom, okay? And we're going to baste this onto the side here. Okay. So it should look like that. Now we'll take the other lining piece. We'll put that on top, right sides together. We're going to match up the tops and all the way down. And then we're going to sew the side piece. Sew the sides on at 1/4 of an inch. Okay. So we got that side on. Okay, now open it up like this. You're going to bring the divider pocket over to the other side. So it is going to pull it in. And again, we're going to match it up at 1/4 of an inch from the bottom. And we'll baste this on. Getting to the end here. Did I do that again? If I do that one more time.
Keep breaking your face.
Yeah, because I'm just like gun, like whoop, whoop. And like I said, because my machine needs some maintenance, I have really got to. It's time to change the oil out and give it, how I have to give it a whole little cleaning. It's been a while since I've done that. I'm not going to lie. So I can always tell when my machine starts to get temperamental. It's telling me it's been too long, mama. It's too long. Let's get rid of that. Yep, gotta treat it right. Okay, so let's try this again. Okay, now we're going to bring the other line, the other side over, match that up, and sew at 1/4 inch like we did the other side. Boy, I made it thick over here with this one. I was like, what am I thinking? I probably should have did the video with the other one with the lighter in case I don't do so well when I get to the top stitching part. Oh yeah, but hey, I'm always up for a challenge. Okay. I broke my thread again. Too thick right there, huh? All right, machine. What you want me to do? What you want me to do to you, huh? Okay. I can't clean you this weekend because I'll be busy. But I promise you, after the weekend is over, we will be getting some cleaning done over here on this machine. Okay. I'm taking you through the paces with this one. You gotta take your time. Okay. There we Oh, I think I broke it again. Right at the end. Okay. So this is what it's going to look like. This is what it's looking like. See how it brings those sides in. Real tight there. Okay, so me and this machine, I think it's tired of me, honestly. And so, but I will get through the end here. No worries. This is the life. Okay, so we're going to do the bottom, take the bottoms, match it up. So we have the bottom seam, and we're going to sew that at 3/8. So the bottom's at 3/8. Okay, so I'll get it on. Might seem a little awkward because of that divider pocket, but it will be okay. Just get it clipped and it will lay just fine. Okay. And we'll be gentle with my machine here. It needs a little vacation. And you're constantly going and you're trying to meet deadlines, and sometimes you just neglect to do the service. Okay. So now, just like a box corner, we got these box corners. We're going to pull out here. So let me turn it this way so you can see. So that's the bottom. And we're just pulling it out and matching the centers here. And I'm going to nest the seams. So one is going one way and one is going the other. And I'm going to clip that. And we're going to sew this at 1/4 inch. Because remember, we left that 1/4 inch at the bottom. So we don't want to do more than that. Or we're going to sew into our divider pocket. Sew it this way. Put in there. Put that. Go. And then we'll do the same thing on this side. Here we go. So the lining is all sewn up. So what I need to do now, okay, looks a little weird, doesn't it? Okay, but that's okay. Now what I need to do is I'm going to put double-sided tape around the top, fold the raw edges down to meet the line like I did on the exterior, and then we'll be ready to drop it in and top stitch. Alrighty, we're ready to drop her in. Okay, so I have my exterior here and I have my lining, and we're just going to pop that in, making sure that the zippers toward the back if that's where you want it. And that's how I want this one. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and start getting her all clipped together. Okay. So I'm just starting over here on the sides and clipping that seam to the middle. Okay. And when I tell you, I have some thick seams here. So a cylinder arm sure would be nice right about now. Honey. Did you hear me? Talking to your dad. Saying the cylinder arm.
You funny.
You hear me, babe? I need the cylinder arm. Okay, so it looks like it's all matching up really nice. Okay. I just hope my machine is up to the task of going through this thick vinyl. But I did it to myself, and I'm not going to back down. I'm going to show this vinyl who's boss. Sounded good when I said it. I will not let y'all see me cry. I just feel like singing Purple Rain.
Oh, why? Because the bag is purple?
Mm-hmm. This is my Prince bag. Okay, whew, gotta get a lot of clips on this. But yeah, I really love the way everything is just lining up so nicely. It's just going together. Whew, that looks so good. So good. Good. Okay. And the lining fits nice. Woo! Look at that. This is one structure bag. Your bag does not have to be this structured. I was like, okay. Okay, we're going to take a deep breath. Okay. So, this, we have to like press this because because I'm using a flatbed, I have to really push down and press down to be able to top stitch this. Even the one with the thinner vinyl, I had to really get in there because we're sewing from the inside. So, the bobbin thread is going to be on the outside, and you know, you have to take your time and make sure that, you know, everything is looking good. So I'm just going to really push it down, and I'm going to start right here in the back, and I'm going to get in there and get a situation. I'm going to leave long threads because I'm going to bury my threads in the seam when I'm done, hopefully. And just let's go. Let's go. We got to do this. We got to get this top stitched.
Are you making a strap?
Yeah, I am going to make a strap. I probably should have made the strap first, but you know, right now, this is, I might break a nail or two or three or four. But I'm going to get this done. Okay. I like to use these little pliers here. These needle nose pliers. Okay. And I'm just going to take it one stitch at a time. And these clips, they like to get in the way. Okay. So just put one foot in front of the other. Okay. far, so good. Okay. So it's when I have to like turn it and manipulate it like that. So just push. I'm just gonna push down. Show this bag who is boss. I am the boss. And now I'm just rotating because I'm coming on this curve, and I'm just gonna press it down. Don't be afraid to push down on your bag. You can get it back in shape. It will not break, hopefully. Okay. Coming around on these thick seams, and I'm using my pliers to kind of smash them. And okay, don't fret. We will get it done. Okay, so here we go. Because whatever, if it does anything, there's any little skip stitch or bobble, I'm just going to fix it. I am going to fix it because we've come this far and we have to keep going. Okay? So don't you worry about a thing. This bag made this way particularly is not domestic friendly, domestic machine friendly, trust me. But maybe with the right materials, it could be. But most structured bags like this are kind of hard to do on a domestic machine. Oops, okay, clip, don't come up, okay. But I think I'm getting it done. Okay, so I'm coming around to the front and I'm keeping everything there. Okay, here we go. This corner. Take your time. Take your time. This is just the stuff you don't see. You don't normally see when we post our pictures and oh, it was wonderful. But no, this is sometimes this is what you have to do to get the results you want. This is the work. Oops, my clip. Okay, so part of my clip came off, so. Okay. I don't have far to go. I appreciate you guys for hanging with me. Okay, I'm coming around another curve and I'm just pushing down and rotating and pressing it down. That you never thought these bags get manipulated like this, huh? Okay, so I'm getting back around to the back. I'm just pulling my thread that I left hanging earlier so I can get ready to tie those off when I get back around. Okay. I got around. Look at my bag though. Ay, ay, ay. It looks so pitiful. It's like, what did you do to me? But we're gonna just pop it right back into shape. Okay, not too bad, huh? Not too bad. It looks good. I'm very happy with that. Even my stitches going around the curves. Oh, see, it just worked out, didn't it? It worked out. Okay, so let's just get these threads situated. I'm just going to pull them up, and then I'm going to take a needle, a hand needle, and I'm just going to feed it up through the seam and tie it off there. Okay. So trim this a little. So I have a little needle I keep up here for this purpose, or a big needle. Okay, and we're just going to thread this needle and go through one of the holes and up through the seam. Okay. And I will tie those off and bury it down in the seam. Carefully turn those ends a little and then get them down in there. All right, that looks good. So you just need to shape it. The shape, and I'm going to clip this. I'm going to clip these. I'm going to clip this in like this, and I'm going to leave it like that overnight so that the shape really takes form. Okay, but for now we just need to get our the rest of our lock on. That looks so good. Okay. Yes. So we're going to get the rest of our lock on, make the strap, and then that's it. That's it. It's done. So I'll be back once I put the other piece of the lock on. Oh, I made it through the top stitching. I'm so glad because I just love this purple bag. Me and Jasmine decided that a purple strap was just too much because there's already too much purple. So we went with the silver chain strap, and I like that. So and Jasmine still keeps thinking that this is going to be her bag, so I let her have a little input. But anyway, so I really love this. I really love the way it came out. I did forget, I like to put my little rivets back here on the flap, and I forgot, but it's okay. I think it's still pretty secure. I like this lock, and the divider pocket, there's so much room. There's lots of pockets to put things in, and I love that. So like I said, this is going to sit overnight once I clip it, and it will keep its shape and really stay, you know, because I have to tame this thick vinyl. And then also you know, the flap is fine. The flap is sitting just fine. So I just, like I said, I love it. Thank you for watching. I know it was crazy at times, but you guys hung in there with me. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications so you don't want to miss out when I add new content. And till next time, thank you for joining me at Soulful Creations.